Tuesdays are going to be a bit of a catch up on concepts day. I will do a little meditation at the end here, but I'm going to show you how to do a quickie and to do a little bit of psychic surgery. We're going to start by talking about how you incorporate some of this into your daily life. And one of the big things we're doing is expanding our consciousness from a binary to a power of three. You hear everyone talk about the power of three. What are they talking about? Well, it really goes back to Nikola Tesla and even farther back than that, but Google Nikola Tesla 369 and you will learn about the mathematical magic. And there's a problem-solving result to the change in your consciousness going into that sort of dimension. And I'll explain it quickly in the idea that when I was young, I was taught to solve problems by writing down the pros and the cons. Well, you know, that's the plus and the minus, the yin and the yang, the light and the dark. We are inside a binary system in our three-dimensional reality that we live in here on Earth. But to expand your consciousness to maybe a fourth dimension or otherwise, you get into the power of three, and how that applies to problem solving isn't a simple plus minus list of pros and cons. It is that there are three aspects to thinking, and there are three paths that you can take to solve any problem. One is the masculine, one is the feminine, and one is neither. The masculine consideration on solving a problem is the rational, is the linear, is the make a flow chart and figure out how to solve your problem through a graph or a steady line of thinking. It's flat, but it is the most popular way of thinking. It is very brain oriented. The feminine way of thinking about a problem is to say, I don't care how we get there, I just want it to feel good. The feminine is really a much more heart-oriented way of solving a problem. There's a lot more chaos to it. There's a lot more internal failures along the path, and then boom, you land at the good ending. There's a lot more magic to it. You know, when people are firmly embedded in the feminine and firmly embedded in the masculine, they can really clash. And the point is, maybe the problem isn't all one or all the other, but a combination. But at least if you identify, here's the rational way, here's the intuitive way, and, you know, strike a balance. That's very helpful. But there's also a third way, which will get us into the shape of a triangle instead of just a sphere, which is what we've dealt with so far in terms of geometry. The triangular, the last leg of the triangle is neither. And that means you don't solve the problem, you retreat. You do nothing. And that is a very important option that people forget that they have, because, you know, I know that a lot of very tense situations you just shouldn't touch. You maybe feel compelled by empathy or other reasons to jump in and solve a problem that is or isn't yours, but you forget that you can withdraw and let the problem work out itself. It might save you a lot of energy. There's a lot of wisdom in that, and people forget that you can do nothing. So there's the masculine way, the feminine way, and neither. And that is a new set of thinking you can put yourself through as an exercise whenever you've got, you know, a big decision to make, rather than just the pluses and the minuses. So that's a very practical way, this new awareness you can start to be integrated into your daily life. I'm also at the end of this going to do a speed of light chakra alignment, which is the type of thing I use when like I'm at the stove waiting for something to cook and I know I'm going to stand there for 3 minutes. You're in a bank line, you're in somewhere, you're in traffic. What are you going to do with your brain rather than get frustrated? Well, you can do a quick ride around your chakras, and we'll do that at the end of this. So that is good. Then next on my list of things to talk about is the fact that chakras are considered the particle accelerators of the light body. and there are 7 of them. And they are really just like scales in music. You're not really playing music. When you're playing a scale, you're doing an exercise on the fundamentals so that you can play music. That's what it's like to align your chakras. There is not an accident in that there are 7 tones to the major scale in Western music, and there are 7 vibrations of wavelengths that produce color and sound and everything in us to align our electrical body, our light body. So I just wanted to point that out to you, that it's the chakras and the music fundamentals are very, very similar in how we handle them. Now, the last thing I want to talk about today before we get into a little bit of meditating is the fact that opening the third eye is a big goal of this work, and it takes a while. You'll be doing chakra meditations for a while, and what starts to happen to you is, in the excitement of your body reacting to the ups and downs of emotion and stuff, you'll start to feel little tingles and things that give you a signal that something up here is working. It's actual vibrations you can feel. And the thing about the third eye getting activated, getting reborn, because pretty much everyone's is dead in our society until we do some of this work by the very pollutions that we are swimming in, is that there are 6 magnetic lines that get generated from your pineal gland, from your third eye that's in the middle of your head. And the 6 lines correspond with the 6 sides of a cube, say. We have, well, that's actually south because of the way I'm sitting, but there's north, south, east, west. Don't bother on how I'm sitting, I said them all wrong. But the point is, it's the 4 directions, and then up and down. Just like if you touched the sides of a cube, you'd have 6 sides, the 4 around the outside and 2 on top and the bottom. Well, this is really where we get our spidey sense from. This is something that ancient humans could not have lived without, these magnetic lines, because one of the most important things they did for them was allow them to see in the dark. The invention of the light bulb and 24 hours a day electricity, and we light the dark. We don't like we think the dark is bad and the light is good, and that's not really true, but that's just what we've been obsessed with, because we felt like we couldn't see in the dark, and that's just a lie. One of the things that I've been doing is trying to do certain chores that I do every day with my eyes closed to develop that. I'm using the spatial memory of my house. That's so funny, I always do that, but I purposely keep these kind of loose because I change them around a lot. The magnetic lines that come out of your third eye are magic powers, and it's so weird, like as I'm talking about it, I feel this like vortex come out of my head and this tingling sensation. But I just wanted to tell you about them, and it's the basis of the beginning of the Herkaba meditation, which, as I said, is way too complex for me to teach on video, but I want to start to introduce you to some of the concepts. And one of the things we do is we sit inside the tetrahedron, and we see half of it, which is the upper half, and the bottom half with the in and the out breath. I'm not going to do that part. We're just going to breathe. But we have these mudras when we meditate, how we hold our hands. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they correspond with these 6 magnetic lines that come out of your third eye. And we can clean those up, just like we clean up our chakras by just doing a little work with them. And it's a really simple cleanup in the way I'm going to do it. And we're going to do it right now. You don't have to think about what they are or know anything about them. All you have to know is there's 6 of them, and they correspond to this with your hands. So we're just going to breathe in and out 6 times to reset these electrical circuits in your third eye. Here we go. First one. Breathing in. Breathing out. Second one. Third one. Fourth one. Nice. Fifth one. Sixth one. No, I've never done that so simply. There's another part to it that's a lot more complex, but it does demonstrate the mudras corresponding to the 6 magnetic lines that get generated out of your third eye as it reawakens. And to take a breath in and out on each one is another quick exercise you can do to calm yourself, to center and get your third eye spinning correctly on its own when you're in a tense situation. The other one I showed you in a meditation the other day, which is to go, is circular breathing. You go in and out the other side 3 times and then you switch it. I'm not going to do that one today, but I just want to say there's 2 for that pile of quickies you can do in real life that kind of just snap you into your light body and help you deal with a highly charged 3-dimensional situation. Okay, then what we're gonna do is a quick chakra alignment, the kind you would do, like I said, that you would squeeze into the fact that you're stuck in the 3rd dimension somewhere you don't want to be. You're in a line, you're waiting. Maybe you're frustrated and you don't want to be frustrated. So we're gonna do that, and then a little ending and I'll be done. Here we go. We're on the red ball in the basement, spinning to the right. Orange ball spinning to the left. Yellow ball spinning to the right. Green ball spinning to the left. Light blue ball spinning to the right. Dark blue ball in your forehead spinning to the left. And the purple ball above your head spinning to the right. Let's go down. Purple spinning to the right above your head. Dark blue in the middle of your brain and your forehead spinning to the left. The sky is in your throat spinning to the right. The green is in your chest spinning to the left. The yellow sun is in your rib cage spinning to the right. Your creativity is in your belly spinning to the left. And your very being, your survival instincts are in your pelvis spinning to the right. I notice when I'm doing these, I always forget to say the meaning of everything up here. So I'm going to just go quick through and say the colors and the meaning. We've got the red as I am. We've got the orange as I create. We've got the yellow as I will. We've got the green as I love. We've got the light blue in the throat as the truth. I speak. We've got the dark blue in the middle of the forehead, which is I see. And the purple up on top, the cosmic spinning to the right purple is I know. Going back down the same ones. Purple is I know. Dark blue is I see. Light blue is I speak. Dark green is I love. Yellow is I will. Orange is I create. And red is I am. So it's a kind of a quick one. Now we're gonna spin them half circles at a time, and there isn't a lot of time for me to speak. So I'm gonna start out speaking it up and down twice, and then I'm just gonna sit there and expect everybody to ride it on their own. So we're in the basement with the red, spinning to the right. Now you change directions and only take a half circle ride around each one. Red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue, purple, dark blue, light blue, green, yellow, orange, red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue, purple, dark blue, light blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Now let them all just spin on their own. And take a line of light above the purple and below the red and pull it. Pull the DNA strands that twist around all these things tight and give them a good wring out like they're sponges, and just let everything fall out of them. And they're too close together and they're starting to fight and grind into each other, so you let them go. And you have a family of light colored contrary spinning spheres to be a channel of unity gain of energy throughout the universe. Now, I want to go back a dimension into singular discs. And I want you to imagine that there is a upper half of your body disc that it's pretty much centered in your chest, and it spins to the right. It's masculine. And it goes a foot above your head. So one edges of it is on your pelvis, and the other edges of it is on the foot above your head. And it's spinning to the right, only it's a flat disc. Like a saw blade. I just want you to place it there over your whole self. And feel what that feels like. White light. All right. Bottom one, same thing. It crosses the top one by being slightly above your pelvis with one edge, and then a foot below your feet with the other edge. So while the top circle is spinning to the right, the flat disc, you've got a blade of a saw spinning to the left and the bottom half of your body that crosses it and covers a foot below. And just see that left spinning flat disc cover the whole lower part of your body. Concentrate on that for a minute. Now back up, and you've got two contrary motion. Top half spins to the right, bottom half spins to the left, and they cross over in a Vesica Pisces. The symbol, the fish symbol for Jesus, is in the middle where they cross. You can make it whatever color you want, but I want you to go to that oval, that crossed space in your pelvis where the two combine, and realize there's no motion there. You've got these hard spinning currents, a contrary motion that envelop the rest of your body, and right in the bottom of your pelvis you've got this eye of the hurricane. Some people call it the God space. Some people just call it quiet. But back up and see the whole thing, and then zoom in on just that crossover space where the two motions cancel each other out. And go inside that space once. And release. Okay, here's the last thing we're going to do today. We're gonna imagine, look out, now that your chakras are quickly aligned and this larger mechanism was just installed, I want you to look out on your mental landscape. How have you been for the last few weeks? Do you have some molehills or some vortexes that are falling into the earth? Do you have nothing but green and joy? Just look out over your own psychological landscape and give some of the feelings, some of the emotions that you tend to repeat a spot. Associate them with a certain known landscape that we would associate with the surface of the earth. So if there's a part of yourself you're neglecting, it's probably a desert. If there's a part of yourself that obsesses you and keeps coming around and irritating you, I like to see that honestly like a wart. Like a mountain is too beautiful. It's really like a little bit more like jelly, and it's black. It's more like a dog's nose in the middle of your landscape, and it kind of ruins it. And you know, I guess the thing is to take some of your most negative traits and put them in a pile and see what they look like. Give yourself an ability to be objective and stand back from attachments, patterns in your psychological being, and just start to establish your own landscape. Where do you feel really lost? What do you feel lost and overwhelmed by? That would be like being in water. So now that you're getting a feeling for your own in a metaphor, a light body metaphor for your own psychological makeup, is there a part of it that you would benefit from just being gone? A lot of psychological habits that are really, you know, the mental illness kind are like weeds. They grow back. You gotta cut them down. I'm never gonna win against the bamboo, against the crazy Charlie, what is it called? All the things you don't necessarily want into the heart of your lawn. You can't get rid of them forever, and maybe that's why we don't try. But what we can do is we can cut the grass. So we're gonna go back to where we left ourselves with the large spinning discs, and let's just take the masculine one, the top one, and let's shrink it down. Let's take a paring knife to it and cut off half of it. Let it spin, and take your light body blade and just cut it into a smaller sphere. Now you're gonna look at your landscape for maybe some part of you that is prone to anxiety or overthinking, or, you know, it always has to do with too much mentality, doesn't it? And we're gonna cut it. We're gonna you can even add a buzzsaw sound to it. And you're just gonna hover that spinning wheel a foot above the ground of your psychological landscape, and you're gonna steer it towards the dark parts that we're gonna trim. We're gonna cut it off right now. You're gonna be free of it for a little while, and then we'll need to give it a trim again. It's not a big deal. It's just like the earth growing. Our habits, our landscapes are something that, you know, stay under control for a while and then they erupt. It's okay. So here we go. We're gonna take that blade, and I've got a big sort of like molten wart of my darkness, and I'm just gonna cut it just right through it, and I feel it flipping off like a scab on a wound, and I feel the wound saying thank you and breathing, and we're just gonna leave that lie. There's one other thing we want to attend to. We're going to take the bottom disc of that circle that we established, the left spinning one, and we're going to stick it under your psychological landscape. There's parts of you that are like an earthquake happened and there's a vortex of spinning black wholeness that drains you. Sometimes it's the thing I see the most like that is neurological diseases, like my mom's Parkinson's or things like that. But, you know, we all have different things. This is like a psychological detox that we're doing. And so the other half of the detox is to take that left spinning wheel and identify where the holes are in our landscape, where things are draining and maybe we want a pond and all the water's running out. So we're just going to come up from underneath with that left spinning landscape and we're going to cap it off from the bottom. We're going to plug the hole. Just see that thing landing on a spot where you're draining out and just hugging it tight. And then the atmosphere on top of it starts to gather and keep its natural resources for itself so it can heal. A band-aid, a block, a dike on the river. Things that will contain the drainage with the left spinning wheel. Now you're going to take those two wheels that have done their job on your psychological landscape and we're going to put them back over your body. We're going to take the right spinning one from your pelvis to a foot above your head and put it back there. We're going to take the left spinning one and put it from above your pelvis to a foot below your head. We are going to sit in that middle, that Vesica Pisces spot while all this wind, a hurricane is going on around us and we are sitting in dead, quiet space in the eye of the hurricane. That's all for today. Hope you have a great Tuesday. And we'll do some more tomorrow. Take care.